This week we studied a portion of Chayei Sara. The beginning of the portion describes the end of the life of Sarah and how old was she when she passed away. Here is how the Torah describes Sarah's age. Sarah's lifetime was a total of 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years, the years of Sarah's life. The commentators ask, why the word years appear after each one of the numbers? 100 years, 20 years, 7 years. And the commentators explain, and Rashi brings it down, that each one of the numbers denotes a different way of connection to God and how righteous she was. That when she passed away at the age of 127, she was as righteous and clean of any sin like a 20 years old girl. And when she passed away at the age of 127, she was so beautiful and her appearance looked so great like a 7 years old girl. The Rebbe is asking that seemingly physical beauty have nothing to do with being righteous and connected to God. After all, physicality is all vanity. And if we want to describe Sarah's closeness to God and righteousness, the physical beauty have nothing to do with it. And the Rebbe explains that the human being is made out of body and soul. The soul is everlasting and does not change and is not impacted by times or place. The body, on the other hand, is a physical entity and therefore it's bound by physical nature and rules. And therefore, as time goes by, it ages. It is affected by timing. What happens when the soul overpowers the body and affects the body in such a way that the body totally nullifies to the soul? Then the body takes some of the characteristics of the soul. One of them is not to be affected by physical boundaries, by physical rules, and therefore the body does not change so much. And that's what happens with Sarah. The Rebbe explains with an example that the physical body and the spiritual soul are all in one entity and they are constantly opposite each other. The soul, in order for the soul to overpower the body, there are three options. One is to constantly fight the body and try to force the body to obey the soul. A second one, to become righteous, is to isolate itself from the body, totally separating from the body, not addressing the body, not connecting with the body. The problem with these two options is that in both ways it involves constant fight, either fighting the body or constantly staying away from the body, not letting the body overpower the soul. Then there is a third way, which is the preferred way, and that is when we bring the soul so much light and so much power that it becomes what we call in the Kabbalistic terminology mashpia. It affects the body without fighting the body. The body is totally nullified to the soul, seeing the power that the soul possesses. If we are able to overpower the body through bringing the light of the soul all the way outside with such a strong force, then the body totally nullified itself to the soul without fighting, and definitely no isolation, but actually the body, so to say, becomes subservient to the soul, obeys the soul, and follows all the soul's instructions. And that's exactly what happens with Sarah. And that's why the Torah describes Sarah's righteousness, that the body did not change, did not age. She was at the age of 127, she looked like a 7 years old girl. And the reason is, even though the body is bound by physical rules, yet the soul was so strong and so powerful that it was able to overpower the physical natures and rules, and the body took the characteristics of the soul and did not change, was not affected. And that's why the Torah describes her as a very, very special and righteous person, and the Torah uses the example that her body did not age and was as beautiful as 7 years old. And I think for us, we can learn in our day-to-day life that instead of any time we face a challenge, either fighting or running away from it, rather than that, we can just bring light, get involved in the positive and good deed, so much so that the negativity is totally nullified. Just like striking a match, the darkness runs away and is totally nullified. Be well, everybody.